Should you have reward charts for kids who have ADHD? I'm Sterling Jakewith, a Catholic mom coach. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 38, so that was very surprising, and I've been on a long journey since then. And I just did an episode on whether or not Catholic parents should bribe their kids. And I talk about the difference between making transactions with them. Hey, if you do this, I'll pay you money, and likening that to working, right? I want my kids to know that they're going to go into the world and they can perform services or products for money. And I think that's a good lesson. My kids do some of their chores for free, and then some of them are transactional. And then what bribing means to you and how we can reinforce good behavior without saying, hey, if you do this thing, I'll give you something special. I flip that around and I explain it in the last episode, so you can go check that out. But I wanted to say how I think about it a little bit differently for kids who have ADHD and potentially more, other neurodivergent issues that kids have. And so the thing about ADHD is that the brain is just actually a different brain. Like if we were to open it up, you could see the way that it lights up. You would be able to say, this person has ADHD. And I share that because I'm pretty crunchy and I'm very suspicious. So in general, if the world tells me something, my first answer is that's probably not true and I don't trust this. And so I probably felt that way about ADHD and just thinking like, are we just calling people that? But really, they just eat too much sugar or they watch too much TV and they're understimulated, so they're not performing the way that we want. But listen, after my year of research, I definitely believe that ADHD is a thing, just like having poor eyesight. Okay? We can open up the brain, we can see it, and like everything, there's a spectrum, just like with eyesight. But we don't take a person who has poor eyesight and then withhold glasses from them, right? We're not like, just try harder to see better. If you were just a better you, if you didn't eat sugar, if you watch less TV, your eyesight would be better. Like, no, we just acknowledge that this is just how their body is, and then we resource them. And so when it comes to kids who have ADHD, and none of my kids have been diagnosed, but I kind of suspect 2 of the 6 of them, it's important to understand that the tools and the resources that we give them are a lot like glasses. Or I heard another person describe it like a wheelchair ramp to a school. And so this was, I forget if it was Barkley or Hallowell. Those are kind of 2 of the big names in ADHD research. And he was explaining to teachers why ADHD kids need success charts, like a sticker chart or a progress bar and rewards. And the teachers always say, well, how long do we have to do this until the kid is intrinsically motivated, which means motivated on their own to do it without the sticker chart? And he said, never. He said sticker charts to kids with ADHD is like a wheelchair ramp for someone who's in a wheelchair. This is just the scaffolding. This is the tool that they need to be successful. And I have found that that has been really true for myself, even though I didn't know this for 38 years. But I do this even in my business, where I basically artificially create some form of a sticker chart, especially something visual, so I can feel like I'm working towards something, I can see it, and I see that I'm making progress. And then, oftentimes I'm also creating rewards around hitting certain milestones. So I just want to share that even at 38, I'm still doing that for myself. And so I think that even though my last episode, I talk about not bribing kids and not rewarding them ahead of like saying, hey, if you clean your room, I'll give you a popsicle, right? Something like that. But I think for ADHD kids, I really like sticker charts, progress charts, kind of scaffolding or built in, hey, I'm watching you. This is good behavior. This is how we want you to show up. And I'm going to reward you. And part of why ADHD kids need those rewards, literally, whether it's a sticker or a prize or something, is because their brain does not make dopamine the same way that a regular human brain does. So a regular human brain, someone does something and you could like high five your kid and they'll get dopamine. And that's enough for a regular brain. But an ADHD brain just makes less. It makes less and it processes it differently. And so they just need more. They need more help to get that dopamine, to have a reinforcing experience so that their brain goes, oh, that's worth it. And ultimately, this is what we're trying to do as parents, right? We're trying to take the kids and say, hey, cleaning your room gives you a good feeling. The room is clean and you can find things. And looking at a clean room makes your brain happy. And we often reward that or punish, right? We do something to get the kids to do it enough until we go, oh, their brain's going to connect these two things. But for an ADHD kid, they may never connect those two things on their own, right? Like if I lived by myself, I would 100% still put my clothes on the floor. 100%. My brain's like, we don't care about that at all, right? And so that's just kind of my caveat to rewards. And I'm not going to dive too much here because there's so many amazing books and programs now for parents of kids who have ADHD. Just educate yourself. Understand that it is different. It is different. And you can design something that works for your kid. And I want you to be explaining it to your kid as soon as you realize that's what they have, right? This is what it looks like. This is what the tools that you're going to need. This is how your brain works. This is why we need those tools. And I'm going to begin training you how to use the tools right now. So to me, I would be training my kid around ADHD tools more than I want you to want to clean your room. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. Just like a little something there for parents of kids who have ADHD. And I just want to say that your kids can have ADHD and be incredibly successful, right? I've written 4 books. I have 2 successful companies. I really enjoy my life. And I have a brain like that. And I'm doing just fine. Thanks so much for listening and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Mom Mindset. To learn more about growing closer to the Holy Spirit, check out our free resources at madeforgreatness.co. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day.